Hey guys, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. This week I'm going to take a look at a recent video that Dan McDonald, aka the Life Regenerator, recently put out entitled Transitioning to Breatharianism. Well, first of all, let me say this is not going to be a Dan McDonald bashing video as some of you might expect. One reason is, well, two reasons. A, that's not what I do, and secondly, I really don't know all that much about him. I've only seen maybe 3 or so of his videos. I saw him kind of here and there at Woodstock, but as Dietary said, Dan didn't really make himself all that available for, me to walk up and say, yo, Dan, let's chat for a sec. Nothing like that. So, keep that in mind. In fact, I want to have, like, those of you that know more about Dan, help me out here, maybe post some comments and let me know. So, first of all, let's check out this juice fast that he's doing.
I can live off juice for long periods of time. And it's really, really good for your brain and your heart. And that's what the intention is on this particular juice fast, is to open up my heart more and to amplify the conductivity and the clarity of the brain here, so that I can receive the messages more clearly as to the best way to proceed in this life.
Oh, he says he could live off juice for a long time. Well, that's not my thing. I sure couldn't do that. And I even wrote him and left a comment on that video asking him why go to the extreme of fasting yourself when you could have those same results of open up your heart and your mind with yoga, a dedicated practice of yoga. It might take a little bit longer than a week or two or a month of fasting or whatever he does. It might take a year or two, but you get those real lasting results. They have poses and kriyas specifically designed to open those up. Didn't reply back to me, but I wasn't expecting that. And that's not really the main thing that I'm confused by in this video. Well, let's check out one thing here, this bee pollen that he uses.
Some bee pollen here. I like to use the bee pollen mostly for the lecithin. There's some amino acids for sure, and you get all your essential amino acids in the bee pollen, but it really is the lecithin that I like to get out of the bee pollen.
Well, first of all, I think he's mispronouncing lecithin or whatever he's trying to say. It's lecithin, and but more importantly, how come no one is calling foul on the non-veganness of bee pollen? I mean, come on, when you get down to it, it's not a vegan product. It involves a bee going around collecting pollen and regurgitating it outward, and do this hundreds and thousands of times for to get enough pollen to fill that little jar up. And I've done bee pollen before. Back when Angie and I were having some high cash flow years when we first started getting to raw, I tried all this stuff, like Shilajit and all the alleges, and I tried bee pollen. I probably did it for like maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and it didn't do anything for me. All it did was give me cold sores. I think maybe it's too much vitamin C in there or something like that, but it didn't make me healthier, run faster, or anything like that. But Dan says they have some very essential properties, and let's hear his own words here.
And that is to actually help to enhance the quality of the male and female sexual fluids. And those fluids are actually, the reproductive fluids are actually reabsorbed lymphatically, and then they enter into the bloodstream and actually feed the brain. So it's good to be very aware and making sure that you're living a balanced life when it comes to intimacy, because many men will really go through a process of depletion, and the brain and nerves get depleted in that way. So I always keep myself up and up on the bee pollen so that I don't have to experience any of that brain and nerve degeneration.
There you have it. That's why Dan eats a non-vegan product, so to make sure his brain doesn't degenerate from his sperm not having enough lecithin or something like that. I don't know. I wish he would have gave us like where he got that. Is it some kind of like medical fact, or is it some kind of like, I don't know, David Wolf kind of woo-woo claim? I don't know. Maybe the Dan fans can tell me down below. But why I'm really making this video, what really, I just want to say, bothered me the most or just rubbed me the wrong way, was the actual, just strangely, the title of that video of his. It's called Transitioning to Breatharianism. And when I first read, I go, is this a joke? Because I don't know, does he have a weird sense of humor? If he does, again, let me know down there, you Dan fans. I take him at his word, because it seems like he's absolutely sincere. Doing all these fasts, it seems like, yeah, it's his goal is to become a breatharian, which you guys know means not eating food. Do I even need to like try to refute that? I'm just going to leave that to you to decide if that seems like a valid long-term diet plan. So we have a Woodstock Fruit Festival pioneer promoting a very non-vegan diet, and also promoting not eating a lot of food. And not to beat a dead horse, guys, and not to bring up drama again, but I don't understand why Duran Ryder and Freely were demoted for promoting their version of a raw vegan diet that, you know, had a backup plan component to it. You know, Dan's ideas on a raw vegan diet involved having some non-vegan components to it with the bee pollen. And furthermore, Harley and Freely presented pretty much the only viewpoint at the festival that advocated a lot of calories, a lot of eating. I mean, there's a lot of other presenters at Woodstock that advocate a really low calorie kind of diet. In fact, a lot of fasting is advocated there. About, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 people that present there have fasting retreats and the like. And here's why I bring this up. Well, this is why I even bring up Woodstock in the first place once again. As we all know, a lot of people that attend the event are noobs. I sat next to a lot of like moms that were there on their own trying to figure out how they can lose weight yet still have enough energy to do all the demands that their lives demand on them, like taking the kids to school, cooking meals, and running a business or job. And a lot of athletes are there too. I saw a lot of young guys trying to figure out how to get the edge on their opponents with their diet. And if they're only hearing a diet that advocates fasting and maybe the eventual goal of breatharianism, that may not work for a lot of people. I know for a fact I would have failed miserably, because instead of eating 2,000 calories like a lot of the presenters advocate, I eat about 4,000 plus, you know, and I don't know what would have happened. It would have been bad. I think this is a sad situation that the bias is so heavy to one side that people are not going to be hearing an alternative voice saying, hey, it is okay to eat a lot of calories if you want to have a lot of energy to do what you need to do professionally, career-wise, fitness-wise. That's why I eat a lot of calories. And if I were to eat half of what I do now, like I said, bad things would be happening to me. So post your questions and comments down below. Did I misrepresent or misunderstand Life Regenerator's position here? It's possible, but like I said, because I'm a noob when it comes to Dan the Man. And if you haven't already, subscribe up above for more from Angie and myself here on Happy Healthy Vegan. And until next time, guys, remember to keep it carbed and keep it rational.
It's a sleight of hand, conjurer's trick, but the smoke and it's gone. Don't you get